Fellas, I got a big problem with some of the wrestlers in the industry today because it seems like nobody really wants it. Nobody wants to grab that brass ring. We see the AEW women's division actually started cooking when Toni Storm became the champion. I feel like ever since she dropped it, it's cooled off a little bit. Mariah May, she's trying her hardest, but I just don't think she is carrying the company as she would right now. And it turns out Toni Storm is not coming back anytime soon, apparently, because she dropped this quote on us. So this is from the Drainmaker. Toni Storm has announced her retirement from pro wrestling and AEW effective immediately. Now, we know it's just a work. Apparently, she's taking some time off doing her thing, but here's exactly what she had to say. I'm not used to being a loser. I failed at everything. I lost in AEW. I lost in Japan. I lost in Mexico. This is the last you'll hear from me again. Enjoy Mariah May as your champion. You can all enjoy that. AEW is just fine without me. Everything is going well for AEW. They don't need Toni Storm. Now, before y'all jump in the comment section and say, oh, he's getting worked. I know it's a work, but that's not the problem. The problem is Toni Storm was at the peak of her career, at the height, cooking. And then she just decided, you know what? I'm going to get out of here and take some time off. When Stone Cold Steve Austin, like after he had that program with Mike Tyson, if he decided, you know what, I'm going to go on a break for about 6 months, and I would have cooked him because out of sight, out of mind. Now, Toni Storm's gone. Mariah May's not cooking. The AEW women's division is in the toilet. How do y'all feel about this? Is it okay? Because they only work 1 day a week. That's kind of what really rubs me the wrong way. Do y'all think she's justified in being gone for so long while she was so hot? Or should she have stayed in the fire and brought the heat to the AEW women's division? Big on.
I mean, she's been wrestling. She has been wrestling. She's been touring the world. That is, it's not like she's just been sitting on the couch at home. So I want to clarify that.
As wrestlers do. Just want to clarify that part too.
Just look. I'm just saying. Like, you want to talk about the grind? Like, she's been grinding it out on, in Mexico and in Japan. I think, like, here's the thing, right? I think sometimes, like, we conflate like stuff we don't like, right, with like stuff that is true or untrue, as a larger concept. Like, I think it's fair to say, like, if like the stuff that, you know, Toni Storm's been doing in Japan or in Mexico isn't for you, or not you specifically, Kenny, but, like, you know, I'm talking about the larger you out there, right?
No, for me, it's what we don't care about.
I mean, that's what he doesn't care about. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there's no point to it or there's not an attempt to tell a story. It might not be a story that, you know, you're paying attention to, but it is a story nonetheless. And I think with Toni Storm specifically, and then we can talk about the AEW women's division thing, because that's a crash out right there. We disagree. But to me, this is like they're trying to tell us now that Toni is going to be off TV basically until the build up to Grand Slam. I think that show in Australia, they are trying to, which is like very close to New Zealand, obviously, they are trying to build that up as a bit of a homecoming for Toni Storm. They are trying to make that her show. I think like the main event of that show is going to be Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the World Championship. And I think it's going to cook because we saw what their match was at All In earlier this year. It had a lot of fire, had a lot of story behind it, and I think they're going to try to replicate that in the build up to that show. And again, that's a big stadium show that they need to really hype up and sell out. I think Toni Storm, the idea is have Toni Storm take an absence and then have her come back to build up that big show, which is going to be centered around her. Now, here's the thing. I don't think AEW's done a good job of actually plugging this story. I will say that, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think they really just need to talk about it more on TV, like build it up, make it a thing that like, oh, Toni Storm this week announced her retirement. That is crazy, and have Excalibur like, my man can run through like 18 matches for the next pay-per-view. He can't fit like 10 seconds in to talk about Toni Storm. Like, come on, man, what are we doing? But yeah, I think it's generally, I think it's a good direction. They just need the execution needs some work though.
Brian, do you think Toni Storm is running from the grind, or should she take some time off TV right now while she's at
I don't think she's running from the grind. I think that she put in a lot of work for AEW in the women's division because she was the most interesting thing of the women's division for I want to say at least a year. She was just very interesting. I like the character and everything like that. But she gonna end up like her if they don't get it together. I ain't gonna lie. You
And
feel what
that's
I'm
a good
saying?
point. That's a great point, Brian. And that's exactly the point I wanted to make. Because, like I said, Toni Storm was at her peak, the hottest she's ever been with this new character. She's been cooking. Now Mariah May's out there drowning. And, even if the plan was for her to stay out for a while and come back for this big return, I think you needed to come in here and save her. Because if you don't, look what happened to Britt Baker when she had that match with Thunder Rosa, and around that time when she was on a Jericho cruise cutting that promo, she was terrible, and she got great, and she became great, and just went away, just out of nowhere. I'm going to go take care of Adam Cole because his foot's broke. Now he's back. Y'all broke up, and you were nobody.
Well, that's not. Well, she had a stroke, Kenny.
That was not immediately after.
It was during that time. It was the latter
during that time, but she did not leave because she had a stroke. It wasn't a stroke. It was called something else. But that's not why she was out.
Yeah. It was a serious medical condition that kept her out.
She didn't know that was out, but she didn't know that was going to happen.
Wait, I agree to an extent. I do see what Omer's saying, but what Kenny is saying is that medical condition happened after the fact. She didn't leave because that medical condition happened. You get what I'm saying, Omer?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's what Kenny is saying. I think
that's exactly what I'm saying. She didn't
like,
leave because she was injured, or if she was injured, okay, you're injured, take your time off. But they said she was going out to take care of Adam Cole. And then whatever happened. But she was out just because she didn't want to be there. And she even said it. She said, I don't want to be the AEW Women's Champion. It's too much work. Not those exact words. I'll pull it up for you.
Oh, well, I must pull it up for me. I haven't seen this.
Listen, bro. I mean,
look, hey.
I mean, listen, bro. I think the thing with Toni Storm is, bro, she's obviously the star of that women's division, bro, and that's why they say, like, obviously, it's always a personal decision. It's not up to the fans, but that's why they always say for women wrestlers, be careful when you have kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be out for an extended amount of time, and you're not gonna come back as hot as you once was. I mean, look at Becky Lynch, bro. Becky Lynch bounced to have kids. She ain't come back as hot as she once was, bro.
She did. She 100% did.
No, she didn't, bro.
Go watch Summer. I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about that, but
no, she didn't. No, bro, yo, Kenny, we've spoke about this before with Bianca Belair. When she didn't want to have kids, and we saw it on the show. She was hot at the time, bro. It's not easy for women to lose a year of wrestling.
That's true. That's true. And a lot of them want to have kids, but I mean, look what happened to Alexa Bliss. Look what happened to Becky Lynch. She came back. Now, she did come back. She also went out at the height of her career, but in my opinion, it was never the same. So, I mean, it is a thing.
100%. I do agree with that. Just not the same.
But, Big Ohm, I got that article that you gave me the crazy look about. I'm going to give you a little clip of it, though. We just going to give you the headline. And if y'all want this, I'll put the link in the description of the video. Britt Baker explains why she never wants to be the AEW Women's World Champion again. And to give you the summary, she said, it comes with too much drama. Let's see. Yes, Britt Baker has said she doesn't want to be the AEW Women's World Champion due to the drama that comes with the role. Baker has said that the drama includes people being jealous, not liking her, and going behind her back to her boss. What? Are you crazy, ma'am? Now, ever since she said that, and she has not been the women's champion, she's been cooked. Nobody cared about Britt Baker anymore. I'm sorry.
I mean, people cared about her when she returned. Homie. I was on site,
bro. We could play it back, I would play it back.
Play back.
Just like nothing.
Go
and
back.
Then she came back and had that match.
Go back to when she returned at Forbidden Door, and watch the reaction that fans had. Everyone jumped out of their seat. They lost their minds when Britt Baker returned. I was in that arena in Long Island, New York.
And then during the match and after the match, they were like, "Whoa!" I guess that's why she was.
What Matt? Wait, what are you talking about?
You talking about when she came out for a promo, bro? I'm talking about that match.
Returned, Kenneth.
Not that matches was booty.
I'm not talking about the matches, Kenny. You said nobody's cared about her at all. Nothing's happened.
I mean, no, people cared in that when she came out, but bro, after the initial pop, it was cheeks.
Exactly. People are always going to pop for a return, but after the return,
I don't know what y'all be saying.
Follow up, and there was no
follow-up. Bro, we literally made a video on this channel talking about Britt Baker's return. It was cheeks.
Booty cheeks.
That promo was cheeks.
That promo was
Booty
not.
cheeks.
I disagree. I thought that was a good promo.
This man's sticking up for Britt Baker.
Genuinely,
Now.
it was
Come
a
on,
good
bro.
promo. The
I mean, that
promo
was the
segment
biggest
between
Britt Baker
her
guy
and
in the business, but she has not
no,
delivered.
dead the promo
Christian
between her
Cage.
and Mercedes in Chicago when she returned. It was a good promo. What did you just say?
Brian crashing out in the video.
I don't want to hear it. I didn't hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't even know.
End it. In the video, Brian.